Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, starring Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Robbie Coltrane, Ralph Fiennes, Michael Gambon, Brendan Gleeson, Jason Isaacs, Gary Oldman, and Alan Rickman, and directed by Mike Newell. Now I remember seeing this thing in theaters like, I don't know, 3, maybe 2.5 times, because it was so good, man. And what do I think of it to this day? Well, let's get into this. We follow a snake to a caretaker, which will lead to Wormtail, returned by Timothy Spall, with the mysterious villain and another villain that we'll find out at the end. And it was Harry Potter's dream, who is returned by Daniel Radcliffe. And we get him with Ron Weasley, returned by Rupert Grint, and Hermione Granger, returned by Emma Watson, and the rest of the Weasley family, and the audience gets introduced to Cedric Diggory, played by Robert Pattinson, who I've seen, unfortunately, in this show. But he's much better here than he ever was in Twilight. I also like how we get to the Quidditch match. We get reintroduced to Draco and Lucius Malfoy, returned by Tom Felton and Jason Isaacs, and a new character named Victor Crumb, who and his British folks against Ireland. And I love that. I love briefly that match. And the next scene, some evil-looking wizards invade the camping area and warn everyone someone will return soon, and I'm not going to talk about that until the end. But I like this opening so much than anything with the Dursleys. When we're on the train to Hogwarts, we get introduced briefly to Cho Chang, played by Katie Leung, and who I found very sweet in this movie, and I do like the character as well. Hogwarts has a Tri-Wizards Cup ceremony for only the 4th year, when 1 is Cedric, 2 is Fleur Delacour, and 3 is Victor Crumb are introduced to the students, and I love how Crumb's group comes in with the sticks and bangs them on the ground, and I do like how the Goblet of Fire works with the rules of what age to get into the Tri-Wizards tournament. Mad-Eye Moody, played by Brendan Gleeson, is the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And thank God for that, because I have his wand! Ha ha! And I like he gives a lesson of 3 unforgivable curses. And next thing you know, he's playing with a spider, which was super duper funny when Malfoy gets the spider on his face. But the torturing and killing curses are true when it comes to the titles. I love the scene for how funny it is and how serious it is at the same time. And I didn't rob this. I got this at Universal Studios, so what are you laughing at? I love how Fred and George Weasley passes the age limit line and put their names in the Goblet of Fire and get spat out like gum, and their faces look like old men, like younger version of old men. That made me laugh super hard. Victor Fleur and Cedric's name gets spat out like gum in the Goblet of Fire, and they have their 3 champions, but Harry out of the blue gets picked in the Tri-Wizards Cup, and as Dumbledore, returned by Michael Gambon, and the other teachers talk about it with concern, but they don't have a choice but to let him go in the Tri-Wizards Cup. I like that this movie has stakes, like Harry going into the Tri-Wizards Cup, and Harry's and Ron's friendship is at stake as well. Rita Skeeter, played by Miranda Richardson, is a reporter and focuses on what her readers want to hear versus what they really say, and she was the only problem I have with this movie, but she's barely in it, so that's good. Sirius Black, returned by Gary Oldman, talks to Harry briefly about his dream in the fireplace. And that was beautifully shot. Just really. Hagrid, returned by Robbie Coltrane, tells Harry that dragons is the first task while he's on a date with Fleur's teacher or owner, whoever she is. Forgot her name. And Harry tells Cedric the same thing the next day, and even the badges, and this is going to sound mean, but the way the badges say, "Potter stinks!" sounds funny. What's more hilarious is Malfoy gets turned into a ferret by Mad-Eye Moody. It was just brilliant! Harry tries to grab a golden egg from a Hungarian dragon, which is a reminder that this is a PG-13 rated, and for a first for the Harry Potter franchise, which with the intensity, it makes sense. But I do like that sequence. Ron is depressed because of Hermione going to the ball with Victor Krum, and Ron tries to spoil Hermione's night with Victor Krum and succeeds, which is kind of cruel. But the ball scene was absolutely beautiful to look at. Harry is taking a hot bath, and we get Moaning Myrtle, and they're giving Harry very good advice about going underwater and finding out what the next task is, menacing mermaids, and holding his breath underwater for an hour, which is absolutely impossible. And he eats something that he finds out on his feet can turn into fins. The cinematography and this visual effects underwater is just stunning. I love the look of it. Harry finds out the third person in the dream was the mysterious wizard and Wormtail from the opening sequence is Barty Crouch Jr., played by David Tennant, whom I've seen in lots of things in the movies, and I like this character actor. His character is pretty good, as a pretty good villain to be put in Azkaban prison. Harry, Cedric, Victor, and Fleur, sorry if I keep saying that wrong, go into a maze for the final task, and this one is much more dangerous than the other two. Fleur gets taken out rather too quickly, so she's the first to go. Victor is the second to go out, but Cedric and Harry try to go for the cup. Cedric gets captured, then Harry saves his life, which is brave and heroic of Harry, but that's not going to last very long because they both grab the cup, and then suddenly some Death Eaters with Wormtail. And who is this mysterious wizard that killed Cedric Diggory? Voldemort, played by Ralph Fiennes, back and more alive than ever. I really enjoyed Ralph Fiennes as Voldemort. We find out Lucius Malfoy was part of the Death Eaters. Harry and Voldemort have a wand fight and takes care of Cedric's body after Voldemort kills him. And everyone finds out two things. 1, Cedric's dead. And 2, Voldemort's back. And I really like how this movie has stakes. And Harry's parents shows up as ghosts. That was a cool vision. We find out the audience, Mad-Eye Moody was disguised as Barty Crouch Jr. and put his name in the Goblet of Fire and lead Harry to Voldemort. And the real Mad-Eye Moody was alive and trapped in a treasure chest. And Barty goes back to Azkaban prison. The thing that kind of annoyed me about the ending was Hermione saying everything is going to change, isn't it? I got annoyed by the way she said that. Just change the rest of the movies for just a couple of minutes and what we're about to get in the next movies. So yeah, that's basically my opinion. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 9.0 out of 10. This is the best Harry Potter maybe out of any of them. I really enjoyed the stakes in this movie, and this is a great time at the movies, and yeah, it was fun. And I'm not going to look forward to next week, but I will come back then to talk to you about Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. And until next time, sunshine daisies, turn the stupid camera off.